You know, in our digital world, it's so easy to get caught up chasing the next paycheck. But what if the real secret to lasting value isn't about what you earn, but what you build? Today, we're going to dig into a really powerful mindset shift, moving away from earning temporary income and toward building durable digital systems. All right, let's just frame this whole idea right from the get-go. Over on the left, you've got income. It's temporary. You have to actively earn it and, well, it stops the second you stop working. Think of it like a hamster wheel. Now, on the right, we've got assets. They're durable. You build them over time and they can eventually become automated. That's not a wheel. That's a machine that works for you. So really, the fundamental choice is right here. Do you want to keep running on that wheel, or is it time to start building the machine?
And that wheel, that leads us straight to what you could call the income treadmill. It's that exhausting feeling, right? Running faster and faster just to stay in the exact same spot. When you're only relying on intensity, on your own hustle, your whole setup is just fragile. It's a one-way ticket to burnout, and the moment you step off, everything just stops.
So the big question is, how do we get off this treadmill? We do it by shifting our whole perspective. We have to stop thinking like a laborer who's just trading hours for dollars and start thinking like an architect. I mean, an architect doesn't lay every single brick themselves, right? No, they design the system, the blueprint that creates value long after that initial work is done. It's time to start building your own value machine.
This right here, this quote, is the absolute heart of this entire idea. Seriously, if you remember one thing today, make it this. Long-term value is created through systems, not intensity. It's not about working harder, it's about building smarter things that actually last.
So you might be thinking, okay, building a system sounds great, but how do I actually do that? That's exactly what we're jumping into next. We're going to walk through the 5 core principles that are basically the blueprint for any durable digital asset you want to create.
Every durable system needs a solid foundation. So let's look at the very first cornerstone, principle number 1.
Okay, principle number 1 is predictability. This is all about consistency. Think about your favorite weekly newsletter or a YouTube channel you follow. You know when to expect new stuff. That consistency, it builds trust. For a system, when your revenue or your engagement follows a clear pattern, you can actually manage it, you can scale it, and you can rely on it. Predictability turns all that chaos into clarity, and that lets you build with real confidence.
Once you have that predictability dialed in, you can start optimizing the whole thing. And that brings us right to our second principle. Next up, we've got efficiency. A durable system isn't just about doing the work. It's about multiplying your effort. It's about getting more results without constantly having to put in more of your own time and energy. This is where things like automation and smart processes become your best friends. The goal is to have a system that grows and produces results on its own, without you having to manually pull every single lever. Now, with a predictable and efficient system in place, you can unlock the true power of compounding. This is principle number 3, and it's where the growth really starts to take off.
And that brings us to retention. What's so key here is this idea of compounding. Look, it is always more powerful to keep your current audience engaged than to constantly be hunting for new people. Why? Because retention means you are not starting from zero every single day. Each cycle builds on the last one, creating this incredible compounding momentum.
So, your system is now predictable, it's efficient, and it's retaining users. That's amazing. But how should it grow? That's what our 4th principle is all about. This brings us to expansion. And the key here is that smart growth always follows behavior. Don't just add features or make things more complex just because you can. The best way to grow is by watching how people actually use your system and then offering more of what they already love. You listen to your users, you respond to what they're doing, and your system will get stronger all by itself. And finally, our 5th principle. This one is arguably the most important for making sure your system doesn't just grow, but that it actually survives. It's all about building to last. Our final principle is all about avoiding risk concentration. Think about it. If all your traffic comes from one social media platform, or all your income comes from one single client, your entire system is basically a house of cards. It is so fragile. By diversifying your inputs, your traffic sources, your revenue streams, you build a truly resilient asset that can handle the shocks and changes that are just, part of the digital world. Okay, so we've got our 5 principles: predictability, efficiency, retention, expansion, and avoiding risk concentration. But what does all of this look like in the real world?
Let's bring this down to earth and see how these ideas apply directly to the work you do. Let's see how this actually plays out. For an online business, think about subscriptions and repeat customers. See? That's a system built on predictability and retention. In tech, think of automation that slashes costs and errors. That is pure efficiency. Now think about your career. Having skills that are valuable on more than one platform, that's how you reduce risk concentration. And finally, for a personal brand, when you document your process, you're creating a repeatable system that makes your value scalable. You see how it all connects?
When you get right down to it, these 5 principles aren't just a checklist. They're all pieces of a much bigger philosophy, a whole new way of thinking about the work you do and the value you're creating online.
And here's the core of that new mindset. It's not about being the fastest or just working the hardest. It's about building for the long haul. This is a mindset that chooses sustainability, so you don't burn out. Clarity, so your system is actually manageable. And adaptability, so it can evolve as the world inevitably changes around it.
And so we come full circle, right back to our central theme. Let this be your guide. The next time you're trying to decide what to work on, just ask yourself this one simple question. Am I just applying more intensity here, or am I actually building a system?
So as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this. If you are the architect of your own value machine, what is the very first brick you're going to lay? It doesn't have to be some huge thing. Maybe it's just automating one small task, or documenting one key process, or finding one new source of traffic. That first step, no matter how small, is all yours. What's it going to be?